I want to show you how you can completely rewire your brain to be able to essentially get rich, make money. Because when I was able to rewire my brain and change my mindset from a 9-to-5 mindset to an entrepreneurial or business mindset, that completely changed the game for me. Now, I'm bringing on a very special guest where we did a live interview talking about how to rewire your brain, change your mindset to be able to make money, whether you're a complete beginner or you're at 6 or 7 figures and you need to get to the next level. I promise this training is going to change your entire life and your business if you take action. So super excited to bring on my special guest, Shamina Taylor, and she's going to show you exactly how to rewire your brain to make money online. Let's get it.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. So I'm here to teach you guys about what I think is a game-changing part of being really successful online. Jonathan's teaching you strategy. You're going to be learning a lot about how to create your business, go out there. But if you don't have the mindset to go and do it, well, it could change everything. And if you don't have the money mindset, that could be the make or break for many people. Now, one of the things that I feel like is when you activate this, what I'm going to teach you today, it's going to be the make or break between being this successful and that successful, right? Many of you are very, very successful. You know how to go make money, but you're probably doing it really hard. You're doing it the hard way. You're really hustling all the time. You know, money doesn't have to be hard. The way you do something doesn't have to be hard. And that is what I want people to understand. When you stop exchanging time for money, you're going to quantum leap. Everybody heard of that? You're going to collapse time, which I believe I did and how I made money. When I came into this online space, I thought everybody was a millionaire because that's what I saw. So guess what? I had the expectation that I was going to make $1 million. So in my mind, I was like, everybody's doing this. And I bet you Jonathan did too, because he was an engineer. When he came into the online space and he saw other people being quite successful, he's like, man, I could do that too. And so when you have the belief that you could do something, guess what? You can do it. Awesome. First and foremost, you are the blueprint for your life and business. Whatever you're thinking about right now, whatever you're feeling about, whatever you see, however you see the world is how the world is going to show up for you. Beliefs that you were raised with, right? Like I told you about, money was bad, or we need to give it away, or you have to work really hard. Put those on like lenses right now. You're putting those on. Those are going to become a filter how you see the world, right? And then you put on any kind of money crap that you've got. You put those on. Then you've got on what society has told you. Then you've got on past experiences. But Shamina, I had a bankruptcy. But Shamina, you didn't see what happened to me. You don't know what my life story is. You put those on. But I know all of you have this dream life that you want. Yes, the reason why you're on this call is because you know you can make the most amount of money. You want to go out there and live your best life. Yes, if you have the belief that it's there, your subconscious will start believing in it. I'll give you an example. I went to an event. There was 2 women there. And one of these ladies came up to me and she said, I've heard you do da-da-da. And then she's like, but you know, I don't have any money. And well, as soon as she said that to me, I'm like, oh, you're already telling me you have no money. So you've already believed that. So as we started talking, because someone said she'd be a good client for me, I found out that she was doing web design. She was only charging a very small amount. I said, why are you charging so little? She's like, because the people can't pay. I said, so you're creating your business based upon what people can pay you, not the value of the work you're doing. Money mindset crap just came in right there. And I said, why aren't you value? She's like, because every time I try to raise my rates, they push back at me. I go get new clients. You need to speak to a different client, because if you want to charge, I teach high ticket too in my programs, because once you know your value, you know, you can charge 10, 20, 30,000, whatever it is that you want. But if your money mindset is at a place of like limitation, then you're going to stay limited. And then I met another woman who said, oh my gosh, I walked in somewhere and she's like, who are you? She's like, look at those that Louis bag. You know, she commented on my shoes. She commented on my Burberry cape. And she's like, I need to know who you are. And she was a woman of abundance. She opened up, showed me her bank account. She had $100,000 in there. She's like, teach me all you have. I want more. So there's a difference between how people look at things in life, right? So you could look at the glass, they say half full or half empty, right? I look at the glass overflowing. The glass is overflowing for me.
That's awesome. I love that.
So those 2 people have very different ways. So like Sarah and Susie could learn exactly the tactics that, you know, Jonathan teaches or other people teach. But Sarah, because she has an expanded money mindset and she's in abundance, she's like, where's the more? She's going to receive more, right? Susie's in lack. She's complaining. She's blaming. She's like, nothing ever works for me. I can't purchase these things because they cost too much. You know, she's living in all the stories. Well, Sarah's not going to make as much money. And so this leads me to my next thing. What do you want? Why do you want this money? What do you want to go do with the money? Because I have a strong belief that wanting just money is never going to get us where we need to go. But how many lives do you want to impact with the money? How many people do you want to reach? What do you want to purchase? How do you want to create a life for your family? And so I always looked at the things that life had to offer, because if I'm living in this life, I can have it. Most people have it backwards. They're trying to have, do, and then be. But you need to be, do, and then have. A lot of people acquire their possessions just so they could show that they're fancy. That's not what I teach. I teach you need to become the person first. When my bank account was on empty and actually on life support, and I was starting all over again as a single mom, I was like, this is not my final destination, because I knew that I could believe and count on one thing, and that was me. And I knew I had to become a wealthy version of myself first before the money came in, because you attract who you be. I had to have that mindset first. And I tell you, money does not change you. All it does is amplify with what you are right now. So if you start implementing those money things, money mindset, money beliefs, abundance right now, I would say that one of my favorite things that I've taught my children, I'm a giver, not because I want to receive. I just give to give because it makes me feel so good. I always carry cash on me, and that's what a money tip. If you don't do that right now, I'll go get 100 or 200 ones from the bank all the time, just so I can tip my barista, my car wash guys, not because I'm showing off with the money, because I know money is a currency and it's always just flowing, right? So this goes back to the do, be, have, right? And the be, do, have. I know before, when I was really successful, I had a spiritual awakening. You guys have to go to my podcast, Unapologetically Rich, or go to my YouTube and you can find my story or read my book. I had a moment, an aha moment on a yoga mat years ago. And I realized that at that time I had, like many of my clients do, we had this aha moment where I had all the success. I had the car, I had, the husband, I had the business, I had the 2 kids, I was traveling, but something was still missing in my life. And I know that my purpose and what I came here to do, it wasn't in the success I had already. Most of that success was achieved by validation, because I was proving myself to the world. I had an unworthiness wound, which I'll talk about in a minute. We're going to get a little deep here. And unworthiness is one of the things that fuels most of us successful people. But how many of us have felt unworthy? I mean, it's the thing that fuels people who are highly achieving. It's our high performers. It's because we never feel like what we've done is good enough. And so it just makes us go, 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 go. And back in the day, I have, do, be. So look at my shit, look at my stuff, like look how successful I am. And now you're going to validate me. You can't say anything about me. But when that life on that yoga mat came to a halt, I realized that I didn't have fulfillment and I needed to now figure something out. How many of you felt that, right? And perfectionism is actually a scarcity mindset. Who knew that? And I'll tell you why. So how many of you are like, okay, well, what is the next thing? So to be, do, have, you have to become the woman, the man. You have to be, and then you go do the action of whatever it is in your business and that energy. And then you can have, and now these things mean so much to me, not because look at what I've achieved and I've worked so hard, but every time I look at this watch or my Cartier, especially my Cartier, because when I first hit my million, I went to Cartier's store. It's a cool story. And I went in there and I was like, gonna only buy one bangle. And when I went in there, I was looking around and I go in there and this wonderful woman named Nan, she's like, let's see. And I started trying them on and I was like, wow, total about $30,000. I was like, what? I could pay that on a mentor. I could buy that because I invest in myself all the time. I'm like, Jonathan, I'm like, if someone knows something that I don't know and I need it, I'm going to spend the money and find out. So me spending $30,000 on a mentor was nothing, but to buy for myself, I don't need it. But let me tell you, this purchase has expanded me into so much wealth. So every time I look at these, they make me feel wealthy. Our subconscious is ruled by our emotions. And I teach emotional mastery. And then if you're in your emotions, like you're going to run the show. On my phone, I put down like a vision board. So I had my G-Wagon down there. I had another Mercedes and I'm a millionaire and I had some other things on there. So every day that I picked up my phone, I know many of you have your cats and your dogs and your kids and stuff on there. I already know I had manifested those kids. Like I already got that. I'm looking for something that I can program my mindset with. So every time I picked up my phone, my mind would be like, oh, there's my G-Wagon. So the universe didn't know the difference whether I had that or not. And the reason why I say go big with your dreams and your desires of what you want now, but do it in the state of not that I needed to prove something to people, but because how it will make me feel. Because everything that you want is because how it will make you feel, right? How will it make you feel? Will it make you feel happy, sad, whatever it is you want it because. And so my desire to have the G-Wagon brought the cash in because it was so strong. My desire to have a Rolex brought the cash in. And so I always filled the desires too. I don't limit myself because if I don't tell the universe that I get to have what I want, then the universe doesn't send it to me anymore. We don't limit ourselves. We have to live in the abundance of what's here for us, because the more we live in that wealth, we become the attractor of wealth. But if you live in the lack, like you have to limit, then guess what? It doesn't happen that way, right? When COVID was hitting, everybody was going, I was making tons of money. I put on blinders. I don't care what's going on in the world out there. I'm going to look at what's happening here. Do you know how many millionaires are made in a down market? And you can be one of them. And you have to have that mindset. You can't, because people are complaining, everything's so expensive. Life is going to life. Things are going to happen with the economy. We're going to get shut down. If we could survive that and make money in it, we could do anything as far as I'm concerned. And so you have an opportunity to go right now and make a business online. And he's showing you how to do it. Go do it and amplify what you have going on right now. It's possible. All you have to do is live in the possibility it'll work for me. One of the things that people struggle with when they have a lack mindset is like, well, I don't know if it's going to work. I have to have everything figured out. This is not working for me. All of these things come up. And what happens is you're really writing yourself out of the possibility of more wealth. So to me, I don't look at all the things that are happening. I look at what's possible, because a lack mindset will take me down a road of nothing's working and blaming somebody. So that to me is like a mindset of like, well, the economy is bad, so then I shouldn't make money. Nope. Right. You see Louis Vuitton still has a line out front, right? People are buying Bugattis right now, right? Where are they getting their money? And yes, you can talk about the little man, but you don't have to be the little man. You can be the big person. You can show up.
So let me ask you a question then, because based on what you were saying, what's interesting is like, yeah, I'm showing people the tactics and we're having this amazing traffic challenge, right? And I've had like a lot of people are doing it, right? But there's so many that I don't think I can do this. I'm like, it's a free challenge. I'm literally giving you everything you need to do this. Like, this is something I usually charge thousands for. And it bugs me because I'm like, we put so much resources and time, and I know it could help people, but for some reason in their head, they're not worthy enough to do it. I don't know what else I can do, right?
I can tell you, those excuses about, here's the thing, you didn't invest in anything in it. Because many of you, because you didn't give some money for it, you're not valuing it. So you're sitting here going, yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it next week. And you know what? He's going to take these trainings down, and then he's going to charge you for it. And then you're going to wish you did it when you had it. Yeah. And I'll tell you something. You know why I got to where I am? Because I jumped on free trainings like this because I had no money. Not a word of a lie. It was March 2020. And I ran a course in January, March 2020. This woman was doing a free training. I watched that free training. I was working at the gym, listening to her. I was making sure I was like, and then something she said made me go, what? Like that made me click. And I was like, she's like, you're always planting seeds. She's like, it doesn't matter if someone's not buying from you right now, right? They will eventually buy from you if you keep showing up and giving them the content. That know, like, and trust factor has to get created. She's like, just because someone didn't turn around and convert right away doesn't mean they won't. And I'm telling you, I have so many seeds planted in my field right now that I keep showing up every single day because they keep turning into clients. People that have been following me and watching me for 2 years now are coming into my world. You just don't know when someone's going to come work with you. But she said that one thing to me. And guess what? I went out there and I put out a program, a 90-day program. I was charging people, I think it was $3,200 for 90 days. And if they wanted to work with me for one-on-one call, 3 calls, I was going to charge them $3,500 or $3,600. Everybody took it. I was like, oh shoot, maybe that wasn't a good idea. But it showed me that the offer, people wanted that. And 2020 was a little bit different. Everybody's home. I will put that little disclaimer there. But these women took a leap of faith and came to me. And guess what? I had someone come on, was a one-on-one client. I made $51,000 in that month. And then I took most of that money and I went and invested and hired a mentor. I hired the woman who gave me the free thing because I was like, if she could give me some information now that can make me make money, I wonder when I invest in her, what could happen. And so then I invested in her, and guess what? In June, I had a $300,000 month. And so what I want to tell you right now is the way you value things. This is the difference between a broke mindset, which I don't like that word, and an abundance mindset. Broke people will get something for free and not do anything with it. People 100%. With an abundant mindset will go, look, damn, I'm getting this for free. I better keep doing it, because then you know what? I don't know what's going to turn around in my life. And so this is the lack and scarcity mindset that comes in. And some people are just not self-motivated. And so guess what? They're not going to do the thing. They're not going to go to the gym, and they're not going to be part of the 1%. Jonathan and I are part of the 1% because we went and did the damn thing. And we didn't look at our excuses and go, oh yeah, I don't know everything. I'm like, I'm going to hire someone who knows more than me and teach me, because I know the shortest road to get to where I need to go is someone who's already walked it. Have everybody heard about a quantum leap? Do you guys know what a quantum leap is? A quantum leap is when we collapse time. There's a future version of yourself right now, a very successful version, or the version that you look at that has all the things that you want. Then there's you right now. The you right now has to act like your future self. So the you right now has to show up wake up, be that person. And what people are waiting to do is let me see the success first, then I'll be successful. That is so untrue. That is why most people are not successful. You wake up as your wealthy, successful version in the morning. So what does she do? She gets up, she does her morning routine. If you don't have a morning routine right now, then I don't know. And it doesn't have to be something that, is so extravagant or looks like Jonathan's or mine or someone else, but you have to have some discipline on how you start the day, right? Some people get up and they do their journaling, they read their Bible, whatever it is they do, they go work out, and then they're ready to go crush the day. I wake up when I'm done sleeping because now I'm doing something different, but I still have a morning routine. I don't wake up to an alarm clock, but I still get up. I still have my meditation that I do, like what I want to see in the world. I set my intentions, because if you don't set the day with any intentions, then the day is going to take over and it's going to have power over you, right? And you want to have power over your day and how you show up. I wake up, I do my money mindset work in the morning, and I do this at night before I go to bed. I set my gratitude for a day, because if I'm not in my gratitude and if I'm not grateful for what I have right now, guess what? Nothing more of that's going to come in my world. And my gratitude could be for something so small. It could be because somebody held the door open for me, but I'm grateful for all the things, not just for the money. So if you are not doing that, if you're not waking up, talking to yourself, good things in the morning, right? This morning I saw a sticky note I put there like about 5 years ago or something, 4 years ago. And it said, I want to help people change the way they feel, like be successful in the world. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I'm doing that right now. I look back at my journals from 5 years ago. I said I was going to fly first class. I fly first class all the time right now. I said that I was going to have hundreds of $1,000s in my bank account. I have that right now. I said I was going to pay cash for a Bentley. Well, I paid cash for a G-Wagon. I said I was going to do all these things, impact thousands of women, because I got up and did the thing. You cannot expect success to come and get you, but you have to go get it. So I know why Jonathan's a little frustrated. I stopped doing stuff for free because I don't want people freeloading, coming in, watching it, and doing nothing with what I was doing, because it wasn't a good exchange of my honey, his brilliance, and him bringing together this big group of people to give you guys the opportunity to go do the thing, and then you don't do it. Well, those people will never be successful, in my opinion. I'm sorry. They just won't, right? They don't see it here for themselves. Let me go a little deeper. We got 3 core wounds: unworthiness, betrayal, and abandonment. I can go look in your business and your bank account right now and see which one that you operate from. If you have abandonment in your life, you have unworthiness, if you have betrayal, or if you have all 3 of them. I'll give you an example. Money comes in. Oh my gosh, all this money comes in. You're excited. You had a good math, a good cash month. And then the next month it goes by. And you're like, what happened? Sometimes what happens is people will have that money come in, but they don't feel safe with it. And so then something else gets created to level that money out, and it goes right out the window. And then sometimes people will have inconsistent months because they've had a betrayal wound and they don't trust that the money's going to stay. So they keep going up and down. Then the people with unworthiness, which was me before, is that I would not charge enough, and I would over deliver and overgive and give too much and expect more from people, right? And so then I would create resentment because I was always giving to everybody. And then the resentment is a scarcity mindset. I would not charge what I should be charging. And so I would make all these programs and give everything in there and then expect people to go do it. So let me tell you, the level of wealth and value that you have right now will determine how you invest in yourself and how much money you're going to make. And so if you have, I used to have maybe more than one of these wounds, to be honest with you. And so what I do with people is I help them work through where that came from. Abandonment could have been your mom left you in the aisle at Kmart for 2 minutes and then you feel unsafe. With money, we've put so much belief on it that it has to protect us, keep us safe, provide all of these things for us, right? But if you don't feel that alone within yourself, money can't do that to change that. Now, people are looking to come find like the Mecca here, like, hey, Jonathan, give us all these things. If you are in a trauma response and not actually getting off your butt and doing something, it's the fear. One of these things are stopping you. So it's so important for you to take action. What if it doesn't work? Okay. What if I do all of this and I'm still not successful? Okay. What if I try this? I've tried it before and it didn't work. Okay. I've been there. If it didn't work, guess what I do? I try something else. Right, Jonathan?
That's right.
Because we don't give up. Because when you're driven, it doesn't matter what life is coming to. I don't believe in failure. I believe it's just data I collected, so how I can move next time.
I love that. So good. I always tell everyone, fail as much as you can. The faster you fail, the quicker you're going to get to success.
The quicker you'll get, because you know what? This analysis paralysis that people go through, they sit there in their mind, they go, well, let me figure out, if I do this, this will happen. I'm like, you don't know. Go out there. I have a saying in my business, messy makes me millions. When I stopped being perfectionist, when I stopped overanalyzing things and I just took action when the belief that I had it was going to work, guess what? 9 times out of 10, that thing worked. Because the more that you have faith in what you're doing, that is an abundance thinking way. And people are like, well, what if it doesn't work? I'm going to look like a fool. And what? So Can you handle it? No. Most people are afraid because their emotions will get hurt, because they'll look bad. They'll care about what people think. You know how many people were making fun of me when I said I was going to go online and do this business? I had people chattering, guys I was dating, saying, subconscious things on the internet about me. And I'm like, look at me now and look where you are. If I let what people think about me stop me from growing and being the thing that I wanted to be right now, I would not be able to impact the thousands of lives and help women become millionaires and change the way people are looking at themselves, because I was letting my insecurities stop me. You have to work on the fear. I use fear as fuel right now, because when I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing the thing, oh my gosh, and I feel this nervousness, I'm like, that I know I need to bust right through that right now, because it's showing me, guess what? A limit. It's showing me a limit. It's showing me where I'm being limited. It's showing me where I'm playing small. We all are playing much smaller than we should be. So you have an opportunity right now to just jump. I feel like there's people who just jump out of a plane. I call them plane jumpers, and they figure out how to fly on the way down. And then there's people who have to check twice, check 3 times, let the plane go back down on the ground, then come up again and come back next week, maybe next year, maybe never. And they never jump. You won't know what you're made of until you go all the way in. I have 2 kids right now, and summer break just started on Friday. Both of my kids are at a job right now, and they don't need to work. They have all the money. Their dad is very successful. I'm successful. My daughter couldn't wait to go to work today. She woke up at 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m., went. My son got on a plane to go to Texas to work with his dad for a job. He only had 4 hours sleep, got on the plane, and he's in Texas right now. He's going to fly back tomorrow. My kids have everything, but you cannot teach this thing that I'm telling you about unless you go do it for yourself. And your children are watching you right now, right? If you are parents, kids don't listen to what you're saying. Kids watch what you do. And my children have watched me show up for myself and the people that I serve over and over again. And they've watched their father. And let me tell you, that creates a discipline. This is how you break generational trauma. That when it comes to money, you show up for your children because you're doing the thing, and you have to show up for your inner child too. You have to show up for yourself. You have to show yourself what you're made of. And I know every time I go bigger, guess what? Bigger arrives. It's a practice, right? The more that you take action on something, the faster that future version of yourself comes here. I believe that the way that we bring our future reality to us right now that we created is that we decide right now that nothing's going to stop us, not even us. And really, it's just your belief systems, because you can have someone tactically doing the same thing, right? They have the same skill sets. They're doing the exact same thing, but one person will believe it will work and the other person will make excuses. The person that believes it will work will come up against roadblocks, will come up against resistance, will come up against certain things. Things might not go great, but they'll still keep persevering. That person is how success is going to come to them. It's not magical. It's because they're going to go out there and they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to believe every single day I wake up. So this is why I say you have to be, do, and have. You have to become the person that has the beliefs that this is going to work. You have to be all in. This is what people do. They say, yeah, I'm all in, I'm all in, I'm all in. But then they get into the boat with one foot, and then they have one foot out, and they're still anchored, and they're like, yeah, I want to go places, I want to do the things, but the anchor is one foot out. You cannot move with one foot in the boat and one foot out. I think Tony Robbins says burn the boats or something, burn the bridge, but I'm like, you need to get in the boat, because I need a boat
to take over the island, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, get in the boat and let's go, let's get the boat of the yacht. I'm like, get in the boat and go see the world and go see what I can do.
Yeah.
And I don't have a husband beside me rooting me on, saying, hey, you can do this. And some of you might not have that partner in your life. You might even be married and you might not have the person that has the same mindset as you. You cannot make that an excuse. I've got clients that come to me and say, well, my husband doesn't have an expanded mindset. I said, you keep doing you, he will come along. You can't change him, right? You cannot worry about what other people are thinking. I had another client that said, my mom just basically said right now to me that told my kids better work hard for their money. I said, you're setting your kids up right now that they think that the only way that they can earn money it has to be hard. No, this is the difference. When your kids value themselves and the work that they're doing, they will value money and they will create more wealth. There's a difference. Because my kids, they had they had football, rugby. My son never missed practices. My daughter's on cheer and gymnastics. I told them if they want to do that, they have to wake up in the morning. I don't wake them up in the morning. They're diligent. They go out there, and now they're at their jobs, right? Working right now. My daughter has cheer afterwards. This is something that the kids have to see the value in who they are. And when you don't value yourself, you won't charge what you're doing, right? It's not your worth, it's what you can do, right? And so this comes back down to our abundance thinking. So everybody around you will shift when you start thinking this way. So think about attracting people. You're going online, you're doing this challenge right now. And this is something that I tell everybody. You go out there with your phone, you get in your stories and you pop it up and you make one story. You do one thing, right? You say, I have this offer, I'm doing this. That could turn into somebody coming and be like, hey, I want to work with them. But what about if you do this every day? You pick up your phone to scroll. Just scrolling mindlessly, doing nothing. And then you're like, I don't know why I don't have any money. I don't know why it's not working. Did you put an offer out there? Did you do something? No, I'm afraid of doing that. I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to buy. People are going to make fun of me. I don't want to be seen. It's not going to work. Okay. When people tell me it's not going to work, I'm like, you're right. I don't try to convince you. You're right. Yeah. You have an opportunity right now to learn so many cool things. And look at Jonathan, 4 years. He has 80,000 subscribers or maybe more now on YouTube. He's created millions doing this. And he's showing you, I mean, like if I didn't know what to do online, I would come do what he's doing right now because the framework was right there. All you have to do is get out of your own way. So for people who want and desire this, you can create so much in your life. Am I right? And so what I want you guys to do, I'm going to tell you a story. I got invited to Monte Carlo for Formula One, which is on May 26th to be on a super yacht.
Dude, that's so cool.
But my son was graduating from high school the same day. So I was like, Monte Carlo, my kid graduating. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I skipped it. But the fact is, yeah, because it happens every year to go Formula One.
Yep, it'll be happening, yeah.
In a place where all the money and wealth is at, hell yeah, I would go there. If you are around people who are in abundance thinking, guess what? Your abundance grows. But if you have people that are complaining about money, they have this limited mindset around there, it makes you feel limited because you're afraid to say, yeah, I want to be rich. That's why I created these communities because the women in my world are like, yes, I want to be rich. I want to have all the money and they don't feel bad about it, right? They're okay with it. So find your group and be around people that are going to celebrate and want, like when you say Monte Carlo, the first thing I'm like, hell yeah, let's go, let's do that. Because then it puts implants in my mind. I get to live such a big life and I get to dream. So going to Europe is a really big deal, right? Like I want to go over there. That's going to cost money to go over there. So if I start living in the reality and connecting to my emotional state about going to Europe and giving my kids that dream, guess what? I'll start making money that's going to come feed the dream. That's how it works. Because the universe doesn't know the difference between a penny and a million. So if you celebrate the things that are in your life, you celebrate the money, you celebrate the ideas, you want to have big dreams, that is going to start creating the B right now for you. And then you can go with the do have. So the B is so important. I'll tell you a story. So 4 or 5 years ago, I used to be in bodybuilding competitions. I've been in the gym for a lot of years, 37 years. I've been lifting weights. It's one of the things that keeps me driven is to go to the gym, and it keeps my mindset expanded because I would always get out of my comfort zone, lifting more weight, et cetera, et cetera. But I was addicted to coffee, and I was like, Shamina, you're addicted to coffee. We need to figure something out. So then I came upon matcha tea, and matcha has a little bit less caffeine in it. This woman introduced me to matcha tea at Starbucks, and all it was 4 scoops of matcha steamed in water, and they were like, that'll be 80 cents. I was like, what you talk about? 80 cents? I was like, yes, 80 cents. Cause I lived for discounts and sales. Cause I only bought things that were on sale. Cause that's what I was programmed to do. Never full price for anything. Cause that's the money mindset I had. I was 80 cents. And then I was living my best life, ordering my 80 cents matcha till Starbucks was like, no, yeah, we have to charge you now. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, you need to pay, $2.75. And it wasn't even for a drink that was on the menu, but they were looking and seeing that everybody was doing this matcha and water thing. So then I flipped out. I was like, what do you mean you're charging me $2.75? Go, there's no way I'm paying for this. This is ridiculous. It's the same thing. It's just nothing's changed. I was freaking out. Then guess what? They raised the price again to like $3.78. Guess who freaked out again? Then they raised the price to $4.85. By the way, nothing's changed with this drink. And I freaked out again. And I was in the line and I was with my kids and they always knew, oh God, she's doing the Starbucks again. Mom's going to embarrass us. But what I figured out was this. As I was sitting in there and I was getting triggered by the new price, I realized that I had the money to pay for these drinks. Why are you so upset that this corporation is raising the price? They have every right to, by the way. They have every right to do that. And I realized in that moment that I felt betrayed by Starbucks. In that moment, things had shifted for me, right? I decided to buy my drink in peace. I decided to pay for the people behind me. And then my daughter goes, what about the people behind them? I'm like, okay, I'll pay for them too. I paid for the people behind me. And then my son goes, what about the people behind them? I said, okay, I'll do that too. I tipped my barista $20 and I left the drive-through feeling so empowered. I was like, I'd been drinking it every day. It was my favorite thing. It was something that made me so happy, low in calories. It was like something I could do. I drove out of that driveway. Before I hit the light, I had $10,000 at my Stripe account.
Wow.
So what I'm telling you right now is you might not know where your limits are and how you're looking at money and what you're doing with it because you are having an emotional connection to something else that has nothing to do with money. Right? And this is what happens, right? So for me, I was able to clear, my father had betrayed me. And so that betrayal had kept with me and I felt like a victim. And when you're in victim, guess what? You're not in abundance, you're in scarcity. You're in lack because when you have that victim mentality come up, you cannot be in abundance. So you don't know where that's happening. I used to go to Costco and guess what? When I was at Costco, I would get so anxious about buying food because the discount person in me wanted, and I would go in the store and I would buy all kinds of stuff, by the way, but I would leave and I would be worried about spending $300 because it was so much money at Costco because I knew most of that stuff would go to waste. So I shifted how things are, right? I would say for you is when you go to use your money and you go to invest or you go to spend or whatever it is, give, find out what gets triggered inside of you. What kind of emotional thing are you exchanging for it, right? For me, that $4 tea every day is my money making move. It's something that makes me feel like a wealthy woman because I know that I can buy it and I can enjoy it and I can have it. But what is it that's going to make you feel wealthy? And for me, that was it. And guess what? It helped me uncover one of the biggest money blocks I had had. And it was a wound that was not even associated with money. Now, I'm not saying to go buy things when you don't have money because that's silly, right? We don't do that. We don't put ourselves in debt because of that. If there's something that you desire and it's not too extravagant, go buy it right now. Make it feel a certain way with you. And someone said, why do we procrastinate? I need to make more money. And I know I'm going to do this. Now I'll tell you why you procrastinate. You procrastinate because you're trying to have everything figured out before you move. And sometimes people procrastinate because they're in a trauma response. They're like, I'm afraid to move forward. And if I do, I could fail. One of the things I would do is start regulating your nervous system. This is something that I had to do with money and I had to do with a lot of things. And this is why working out helps me regulate and ground myself and regulate my nervous system. Meditation did it too. So working on your breathing, doing breath work is really important. For you, I would go and start working on just saying, you know what, I know this fear is coming up right now, and do deep breaths until you can start feeling the calmness in you. Like feeling that really like you have to regulate that nervous system because most people have a dysregulated nervous system and that's why they're actually not taking action. So I had to sit there and go, I'm safe. Everything's going to be okay. Like I know right now I'm forever supported by money, forever supported by the masculine because I've trained myself to believe that. And if you believe money's always there and you're always going to have the thing, you will go do the thing without the fear there.
So good. Yeah. And what's crazy is just to add to the procrastination thing, part of that is that because, and you mentioned this in the beginning, I think a lot of people are trying to be perfect, right? Oh, I don't want to post my first video. I don't want to throw out my first funnel because I'm not good at making videos or whatever. And that's what I see as far as procrastination.
So perfectionism is a very subjective thing because your level of perfectionism, Jonathan, and mine might be at a different level. Like you might be like, here, this is ready to go, roll. This is what like men are really great at this. The men that take action, the wheels are turning, let's move it. Let's jump in the car, let's go. Some people are like, does it have an engine? Is it working? They're like, no, it's working. We'll figure it out as we go along, right?
Exactly. That's how I am.
So, yeah, I know. And so that's why you're so successful because you're not sitting there waiting for the car to be perfect to drive it. You're like, no, I'll find the parts on the way. Doing it messy makes me millions. I say this all the time. The moment I stopped being perfectionist is because I stopped caring what people think about me. Perfectionism is because I want it to be perfect because I care what people think. And I said it was a scarcity mindset. Now stay with me. Why is that important? So scarcity means that somebody told you you weren't perfect. Someone said something to you to make you feel that when you showed up authentically yourself in your truth, doing who you are, it wasn't good enough. And because it wasn't good enough, you don't take action now. But what if you decide that you are good enough today? What if you decide that you've done the best you could with what you could with where you are right now? You are amazing. You pour love into yourself and you take action in that energy. That will be so different than sitting there and go, things have to be perfect. Let me figure out. You know, we're creating a funnel right now and I'm not a big funnel girl. I did a lot of my stuff organic, but these guys figured out marketing better than I did. I started my business all organic, you know, and that's all I did to create my millions because I didn't know about all this marketing stuff. But you know what I did? I spoke from my heart. Everything that I created came from a B place. It came from a place of I cared about people. I cared about connecting with people. Connection and emotions are so important because they create this value with people that are following you. If you can create and talk from a story place and you can connect to people, guess what? You are going to have raving fans. You're going to have people supporting you, want to know what's going on. They're going to trust you. This is all rooted back into your mindset. It's all rooted into your scarcity or abundance because most people who have unhealed trauma or things that are going on in them, unfortunately, or they have belief systems that stop them, they care about what people think and they don't show up authentically themselves. And so they stop doing the thing that they came here to do in this world. If you know that you're not taking action, there's a reason. People who take life seriously is because they're present. And I'll tell you one thing. They're not multitasking. But sometimes people who do multitask, it's because it's a trauma response, because they can't be still. They're busybodies. They don't know how to focus. They don't know how to just take the information. And you signed up for this challenge. You better go to every single one of these things and be here, because it's here for you, right? We are all consciousness, right? And my job is to help shift and awaken people's consciousness. I want you to see life in a different way. And I want to shift your wealth consciousness so you can understand that there's more out there. But if you live in the it's not going to work, this is not for me, you're concerned about gossip, or you're leaving yourself into the blame, or you're telling a story over and over again because you can't stop living in your past, you're bringing it into your present and your future, you're blocking yourself from this creation of what you can have, right? You can be the person today, or you can be the person that you know exists in you. Like the person that you know, it has everything that you want in the future. You have to be her right and him right now. Listen, I want to tell you guys, our parents did the best they could, right? But our parents didn't come up to us and say, Johnny, how you feeling? What is your emotions? It was like, what can you go do in the world? Because they want you to have the skills to go succeed, right? They wanted that for us, but they didn't realize that being emotional and being able to be in our emotions and being powerful and having mastery over it is the thing that's going to change the game for us out in the world. Remember, your subconscious is being programmed by your emotions all the time. So if you are in a state of belief and faith and that this is going to work, that's what you're programming yourself for, right? If you feel you're worthy, guess what? Much more worthiness comes. You see people out there with massive success. This is what I always say. What did they have to believe in themselves to have that success? And I'll tell you one thing, they had to believe that it was going to work. And that's it, right?
So deep, so deep.
All right, let's go. Who has questions for me? How to switch from an introvert to a person who can start over online? What I would do is, I've seen a lot of people doing faceless marketing. See if you can start doing that, or get B-roll, just you walking down the street, and then you can put content on top of it. Jonathan can tell you more, but I've seen a lot of people do this, right? Where you can still have the message, you can still start creating, but you're not showing your face. So try doing some of that first, or you can take somebody else's reel and mix it in with something that you're doing. That's what I would do. And being an introvert, I think I'm an extrovert, but sometimes I'm very introverted because I really like my downtime. So even though I might seem very out there, I balance the two energies. You can be extroverted online Alma, but then you are introverted Alma on the rest of the world, right? You can have a persona.
Wow. Here's a question from Holly. It says, curious about debt. Is it fear?
So this is the way I looked at it. When I started, all of my credit cards were maxed out. I got wound myself up into, a couple $1,000s there in debt. And the way I looked at it was this. I looked at the programs that I was buying was that it was like going to school. I was like investing in myself with tuition, and this was tuition money, putting things on my card, because I didn't have the money to buy things. I didn't have the cash flow at the time. So I revised debt, and I looked at it as not being something bad. I looked at it as that it's getting me to the place I need to go. Mind you, I wasn't putting like Chipotle on my credit card. And I don't think anything is stupid crap, but I wasn't going out buying things that weren't going to produce a value for me in the end, if that makes sense. Like if it was going to make me feel great, but I wasn't doing things that didn't have an extended value. So I looked at my credit card as being a means to an end to get me where I had to go. And I was just borrowing the money, and I was borrowing it at a certain interest rate. That's kind of how I looked at the credit cards. I don't believe that debt is a bad thing anymore. I look at it as being something that it's just a means to an end of where I have to go. But if you're always living behind the 8 ball and you're always living in a place of, I never have enough money, you need to start getting into a state of, what do I have now that's going to grow my abundance? Get yourself into the feeling that there's money there. I'm growing my abundance. I'm feeling more abundant. Don't look at the debt, because if you keep looking at the debt, you're going to be in the I owe energy. So look at debt as being debt, but don't let debt be who you are.
Is it possible for someone to be afraid or scared of success?
This is the biggest limiter that most people have. And I'll tell you why. You are going to be fully seen if you are successful. And then what's the other side? You could lose it. It could go away. So many times people don't play full out. They don't play their full potential. It's not the fear of success. It's the fear of, what if I am successful and then I lose it? And that usually is deeply rooted in an abandonment wound, because something happened that was so great in your life and then it left. People are not totally afraid of their potential. They're afraid of, what if I turn it all the way up and then I can't hold it there? I can't keep it. I can't sustain it. I can't keep it going. And that's where you got to have a strong belief in yourself. Small ways that you can do that is keeping your word to yourself. My word word to myself is going to the gym. If I say I'm going to go to the gym, I go to the gym. If I say I'm going to eat healthy this week, I'm going to eat healthy this week. I keep doing small increments of saying, keeping my word to myself. And so what it does is no matter what happens in the world, even if the success should come and go, I only can control me and my emotions. This is why I teach emotional self-mastery, because if I can feel safe, trusting I have my own back, and I do what I say I'm going to do, then it doesn't matter what happens in the world or what happens in my business. I know that I always can count on myself. Right now, you guys don't know how to count on yourself, and that's what you have to grow on. In our own life, it's hard to find people that are like us.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And so if you don't have someone constantly saying to you, you can do this, you're great, and they don't want to see you lose, they actually want to see you win. They're your hype people because they think the same way you do. That is so important to your growth, because you need people to believe in you, to cheer you on, right? Like to help you. Because sometimes we can go back to our old selves. Like people think, oh, I watched this, 14-day thing. I've got everything figured out. Then you'll get the Tony Robbins syndrome. So keep reconfirming that. And yeah, we do have the beliefs, but you have to, that's why you got to journal every day. I write down every day. When you read my book, or if you get in my world, you'll know I write down every day how this day is going to go. I don't put goals. I put intentions, because goals are just achieving things. I put on, how do I want to live? What do I want? Every day I design my life. If you are not driving and creating your life every single day, then life will create for you. Life will throw at you, right? So you got to be in the driver's seat and do this, right? That's so important. And then listen, really, really successful people don't have a lot of friends. Like I know my clients don't have a lot of friends. That's why I create communities for them, because they're successful women. And so it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I get that. All right. Well, guys, do me a big favor and obviously go follow her on Instagram. Go blow up her Instagram. Go like her posts. Go check her out. And then create a story, tag me and Shamina. Just let us know what you learned. I hope this was of value to everyone here. I know for me, like this was a session for me. Part of doing these challenges is I get people that I want help with. So luckily you guys get to go along the journey with me as well. So, all right, Shamina, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And again, after this, I hope you're taking action on the traffic challenge. That being said, guys, thank you so much for being on here. We'll talk to you guys soon. God bless.